lot of stuff to get into today. We got some boxing for Friday night. We got some soccer that covers this afternoon, and tomorrow morning we're going to get into some NBA. We got 3 picks today, our most picks since the NBA has restarted off the All-Star break, and then we're going to get into some college basketball. We're going to bring in our man Dynamite David, and he's going to join us via remote from his cell phone to give us his picks. He's got a whole lot of picks today. I got a whole lot of picks today as the conference tournaments begin to get into their semifinals, finals. So, whole lot of action today. Let's start out in the boxing, and let's go with Lewis Crocker, minus 140 by decision versus Denise Alibi. Really, this is a pretty easy fight. It's a pretty nothing fight as well. These are 2 journeyman guys who are solid fighters, but nothing really to speak of. But they don't have high knockout rates. They don't have high getting knocked out rates. In fact, neither of them has ever been knocked out. So with poor knockouts and poor knockout rates, I really think this one will go by decision. Crocker is the much probably better fighter here if we're putting it on. It will be in his hometown. So this should be a pretty easy minus 140 decision. Lewis Crocker versus Denise Alibi. So really like that one. Quick way to get some easy money for your college basketball, NBA, and soccer needs over the weekend. So let's get into some of the soccer. Really didn't like a whole lot of stuff today and tomorrow, even though the schedule is action-packed. Just didn't really find a whole lot I liked. Maybe as some of the better teams start to play on Sunday after some Champions League and Europa League stuff, maybe we'll find some more stuff. But let's start out today in the Premier League. We like Aston Villa plus 100 versus Newcastle. Love Aston Villa here. Newcastle is really beat up. Villa has struggled without Grealish, but I think they'll be able to handle this versus Newcastle here. Newcastle really down and really now in a relegation fight. So I think this is a place where Aston Villa can get some cheap 3 points, and they're on the periphery of being in a Europa League spot. So it would be very important if they got 3 points here. So really like Aston Villa plus 100 over Newcastle. On to La Liga, we're going to go Osasuna plus 120 versus Real Villadolid. Really close matchup here. 2 teams that are pretty much, I'd say, around equal. Just like the way Osasuna has been playing of late. Really think they will be able to handle this. And a really nice plus 120 price here. The draw is really up for this one, but I just think the value here at plus 120, you can ride with Osasuna here over Real Villadolid. All right, let's move on to the Bundesliga. And we're going to go with Union Berlin, minus 105 versus FC Cologne. FC Cologne gave us some trouble last week and cost us some money. But just love Union Berlin here at home at this minus 105 price. Both these teams around mid-table. Union Berlin flirted with being up there in the upper table, but has since dropped off. But they've shown they can be in that category, and at home, I think they just will take this pretty easy. Also, in Bundesliga, we're going to go with Dortmund, plus 170 to win. Both teams to score versus Hertha Berlin. Decent value here because Hertha Berlin struggles to score so much. But I think with Dortmund having Champions League over the week, they might make this one a little more difficult than it should be. So I think Dortmund will give up a goal to a very struggling scoring side in Hertha Berlin. But I do think Dortmund will come out with the win. So plus 170, both sides to score. Really good value here on Dortmund. And we'll go to Syria, and we got Verona plus 120, draw no bet versus Sassuolo. Just really like the way Verona has played of late. Sassuolo continues to get worse and worse after opening the season really solid, but they just haven't been able to play all that well of late. And I think Verona's going up, Sassuolo's going down. So let's ride the momentum and ride with Verona. Okay, on to the NBA. We got 3 picks today. We're going to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers plus 7.5 versus New Orleans. New Orleans coming off a back-to-back, off an awful loss to Minnesota where they just got rolled. Stan Van Gundy's angry, and I just think the value here where you got the Cleveland Cavaliers plus 7.5, should be able to cover that at home on a back-to-back with New Orleans pretty much in the tank right now. That was just a terrible loss yesterday. Do they bounce back? They might bounce back for a win, but I don't think they cover that 7.5. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers can defend too well, and New Orleans can't defend enough to cover a 7.5 point spread on the road off a back-to-back. Next, we're going to go with the Indiana Pacers plus 4.5 versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Pacers ended the stretch into the All-Star break really, really bad. Think they have a chance to regroup here. Thinking this might be a statement game for them. No Anthony Davis for the Lakers, so I think they will continue to struggle. So Indiana Pacers plus 4.5. Let's see if they can bounce back off their really poor form previous to the All-Star break. And lastly, we don't do this much, but we're going to take a really big spread here. Utah Jazz minus 15.5 versus Houston Rockets. Just think this will be a monster blowout here. Not great value at 15.5, but Houston was awful last night. They're coming off a back-to-back. I think the Utah Jazz love to just dominate teams like this, and I think they will, and I think they'll put them on it, and we got a probably 20, 30-point win here in this one. All right, let's bring in our man, Dynamite David, with his college basketball picks today.
Hey, everybody, Dynamite David here, and I don't know about you, but I'm loving some conference tournament action. It's been some great basketball the last couple days. I've got 7 Dynamite picks for you today, and I'm going to run through them real quick. First off, I like Western Kentucky minus 1.5 versus UAB. They were my favorite to win this tournament, and I'm sticking with it, and I like that small spread. But it's a solid UAB team, should be a good game. Next up, I'm going to ride the March Magic that's going for Georgetown, plus 2.5 versus Seton Hall. I like Arkansas minus 3.5 versus Missouri. This is my lock of the day. Arkansas is probably the hottest team in basketball right now, and they are not going to be slowed down by this Conzo Martin Missouri team. I like Purdue plus 1.5 versus Ohio State. This is another really good matchup. I like San Diego State minus 8.5 versus Nevada. Now, I rode with Nevada yesterday, but this San Diego State team has Nevada's number, beating them, I think, like 4 or 5 straight, and they're going to win big again today. I like Wichita State minus 8.5 versus a bad South Florida team. And finally, I like LSU minus 1.5 over Ole Miss. Those are my picks for today. Back to you, champ.
All right, Dynamite, we're on the same wavelength with a lot of games today, so let's start out with one of those. Western Kentucky minus 2.5 versus UAB. Really two good teams here. I just really like Western Kentucky. I think they're going to roll through the rest of this tournament. Should be a fun game, but I really like this low number with Western Kentucky as well. Next up, we're both on the same wavelength. We're going to ride this Georgetown momentum, plus 2.5 versus Seton Hall. Just think maybe Georgetown makes a name for it. I don't know if anybody could stop Creighton with the way Creighton looked last night, but maybe Georgetown could get this win over a struggling Seton Hall who got by St. John's last night, and Georgetown can maybe make a Cinderella run here with Patrick Ewing at the helm. So Georgetown plus 2.5. Next, we're going to go the MEAC, and we're going to go Niagara plus 5.5 versus Iona. Niagara with a nice win the other day. Iona been cruising, but I think Niagara can cover this. I think this will be a really, really tight game. When Niagara's on their game, they really seem to be really, really well. And next up, we got Akron plus 3.5 versus Buffalo. We like the way Akron played last night. This should be another great matchup in the MAC. I can't say enough about this MAC tournament. There are a lot of good, solid teams in the MAC right now. That Toledo, Ohio game should be really, really entertaining as well. But we're going to have Akron move on here and see if they can get by the Buffalo Bulls here. But Akron plus 3.5 off their stellar play last night. We got another one that we agree with, Dynamite David. LSU minus 1.5 versus Ole Miss. This should be pretty easy if LSU is playing well. Should be an entertaining game, but I think 1.5 is way too low. I think LSU's going to try to win this SEC tournament, so LSU minus 1.5. And lastly, we're going with North Texas plus 1.5 versus Louisiana Tech. I think North Texas is just the better team here, so a lot of value here getting 1.5 versus Louisiana Tech. Every time Louisiana Tech has stepped up in competition in North Texas, they have lost, so I look for North Texas to win here. All right, be sure to follow us on greenlightnetwork.org, Greenlight Network on Facebook and YouTube, and you can find me, GLN Champ 5, on Twitter and Instagram. That's our show, and we're out.